And welcome everybody to today's exciting episode.
Gumbo, gumbo, gumbo. My word of the week is gumbo. Do you want me to use it in a sentence?
Is it? Can I guess?
Oh, do you know what gumbo is?
Is gumbo
Go.
an American kind of hot pot of meats?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, meats, seafood. The sauce is actually made with bacon grease, I believe, and fat. It's kind of like a roux using that, and spicy sausage, chicken, shrimps.
Just like everything, just chuck it all in.
To be honest with you, it's my favourite food of all time. And
I would love to try it. I would love to.
It's unbelievable. It's usually found down south in America.
Yeah.
So New Orleans is big for it.
Didn't you once find a place in the UK that did like incredible, authentic gumbo and tried to get the recipe and he wouldn't give it to you?
Yeah, I'll give him a shameless plug because it was honestly the greatest food I've ever had in this country. Yeah. And to the point, it was that good, Pirate. I paid for the bill. We then went back to the hotel room. This was in York, and it's a restaurant called Nola.
Oh, okay,
and it's like what was really cool about it as well.
Shout out to that restaurant, hey.
Unbelievable. And they had, like some nights they do a jazz night where it's like a woman.
Oh, welcome to Jazz Club.
Yeah, nice. Playing on a piano. And it was so good. And I went back the next day and got some to take away because it was that good. They wouldn't give me the recipe, but I went back to get more the next day.
Fair play.
And they don't even do takeaway. They looked at me like, what? What are you talking? I was like, let me tell you, your gumbo is the best gumbo. I wanted to meet the chef and shake his hand.
Really?
It was that good. Yeah.
So they gave you a doggy bag?
Yeah, and I took it away.
Nice.
And then I took it all the way back here, heated it up in the microwave. And it wasn't as good because it was microwaved, but it was, it was unbelievable. Yeah, so gumbo.
Is that an English thing, a doggy bag? Or... It's what we say at parties, isn't it? Where you get a bit of party food and you take it home with you.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know if they have that in other countries. Write in, tell us.
Yeah, well, they won't have it in China, I imagine. Doggy bags.
No, probably no.
Well, unless
there's probably a dog in the bag.
Unless they're serving doggies, and then it might be doggy bags.
Oh, that's close to the bone, isn't it?
Well, close to the bone. No, because they've only just passed the law, haven't they?
What about no eating dogs and cats? Or?
We're going to have to fact check this.
Yeah.
But it's either South Korea or China, one of the Asian countries. They've basically passed a law to say that by a certain year of like 2030, they'll stop eating dogs. Something along those lines, yeah.
No.
So they're not doing it yet, but they promised that they will stop eating dogs. So.
Well, I suppose it's all a matter of perspective, really, isn't it? I mean, some countries just don't really see dogs and cats as pets so much as what we do in Western society. But,
there is that argument as well, where if you're prepared to eat a pig, a cow, a chicken, is it any different because you're still eating animals?
Yeah, it's still the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't eat dog because some of them are cute.
It's man's best friend. Isn't it?
Yeah. But I don't judge Asian countries that do. Like, it's just we're not part of that culture, so we don't know.
No.
Who knows? It might taste like chicken.
But again, some countries eat insects and frogs and stuff like that. And who's to say, people might get upset because people are eating their pet frog.
Yeah. Escargot and the frog's legs.
Yeah. So who's to say what's right and wrong, really? When we get down to the point of population increase, where we're into the international food wars, are we going to be so picky?
No, because I've also heard another rumor. This is a conspiracy.
Oh, okay.
There's another rumor that by the year 2040 or something, they're going to start introducing more insects into products.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about it, like Gen Z and millennials and stuff starting to eat like chocolate-covered insects and stuff and really liking them and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Moistly J, when he went travelling abroad, they were offering like scorpions on sticks and tarantulas and things like that. So
yeah, it's just Western culture don't generally like to try that kind of food, but I mean, people have been eating it for centuries, so it's good enough for them, good enough for everybody.
If I was to try an insect, I wouldn't mind a chocolate-covered grasshopper.
I was going to say it'd have to have legs, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not eating a bloody grub. Definitely not. No grubs, worms, anything like that. But yeah, grasshopper. That sounds quite nice. Ants as well. Chocolate-covered ants.
Yeah.
Be like nerds or Tic Tacs.
There's those honey ants, isn't there? That you can like suck out the abdomen, and they've got like honey juice in them and stuff. I've seen David Attenborough do it anyway.
That doesn't sound so bad actually when you put it like that. Suck out the honey juice.
Yeah.
Sucking abdomens doesn't sound appealing, but sucking out the honey juice, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
So, what are we doing today anyway, mate? I feel like we've been talking about nothing.
We have. I hinted at it before when I said everybody should write in.
Oh.
About the dogs and cats issue. Well, today we are talking about people who've written in.
Oh, nice. Okay.
People who have written in and sent us a message. This is our. It's kind of like a no subject, but a bit of a subject because we have got the subject of we've got mail.
Ah, we've got mail.
Ding.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kick it off because this is the one that kind of got me thinking about it in the first place. Was our old friend Keith Egerton. He's one of our number one fans. He's on our Patreon. He writes in fairly regularly, and he actually wanted to know. Well, I'll read out the email directly. He said, "Hi, Josh and Pirate." He always puts you first. Nice one. That's the way it should be. Should be a Josh and Pirate. Has there been any more strange events at Josh's house? That could be a story for one of your future shows. Well, guess what? It's the future. Come on, Josh.
Okay. I don't want to disappoint, but I've pretty much debunked every sound in my house now.
Have you?
Yeah. So I don't know if I've mentioned it before or not, but I worked out that the stairs, where the stairs are in my house, is in the kitchen, and the kitchen is next to the bathroom. So keep up with me here. Mm-hmm. So when I was on the bathroom and I heard the footsteps, it turns out that next door stairs are the wall just outside the bathroom door in the hallway.
Oh, so it could have been next door that was walking down the stairs.
Yes, and because of our job, I won't go into specifics, but there's certain mornings where we might have to get up at like 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, very early, yeah.
So I just think it was next door going down his stairs.
Okay.
So that's one thing debunked. The other sound of things moving
could be planes by the sound of things.
Every time we start a pod, there's always a plane going on.
Yeah, it's quiet for an hour beforehand. Yeah. As soon as we hit the record button, plane. Yeah.
So there's a couple of other things. So there's noises which are just the radiators pinging and stuff because it's a very old house. Yeah. The house I'm in it's like 100 years old or something.
Yeah, floor joists and walls. The wood moves, doesn't it, and creaks and cracks and whatnot.
And the other one, which isn't surprising, is because it's out in the countryside, I discovered rat droppings.
Ah.
So I've bought some humane rat traps and some poison. So he's got a choice.
And a shotgun.
He either goes down the nice way and he gets in the humane trap and I set him free, or... it's kind of like the Matrix with red pill, blue pill.
Yeah.
The reality is you either get murdered by eating the rat poison.
Yeah.
Or you get in the cage, have a nice nibble of cheese, and I'll set you free. So, but it was the rat making the noise anyway.
I hope that he goes for the humane trap.
I hope so.
Not now, and this is a bit, maybe a bit selfish. Not necessarily selfish, but my point being is one of our cats we found as a feral cat on the road that you now live on, just outside the farm, as a kitten, and we took him in and adopted him. I know that there are feral cats in the area, and I like cats.
Yeah.
We have 3. One of them is that feral, that one that was originally feral, from almost outside your house. And if you're poisoning rats and then the cat eats the poisoned rat, that's going to be very detrimental to the cat.
Could be, yes.
Which is something that I thought had happened with one of our cats literally last week when we found him very poorly, and I thought maybe he'd been poisoned. I don't know, he just got an infection, but that it enters my head now. You know,
well,
I'm thinking rat poison not so friendly to other creatures.
If it helps, where I think the rat is, I think he's made a nest in my garage. He's like in the wall in the garage, and there's pretty much just one door into that garage. I know that rats have holes and things that they crawl in and out of.
Yeah, anything they can get their head through, they can crawl through.
He seems to have made, or she, they, them, I don't know. I can't assume the rat
usually
gender.
a them.
Yeah, I can't assume the rat gender. I haven't asked them. So they've made like a nice little nest, which is why at the weekend I took out all the cardboard and had a bit of a clear out to try and find the nest, and I'm pretty sure I found it in the wall. So I haven't quite laid the poison down yet, but if I was going to...
lay it right next to the hole in the wall.
Yeah,
okay,
so,
that's fair enough.
Yeah, so... But yeah, anyway, the noise that I was hearing was the rat.
It seemed to be a rat rather than a ghost.
Yeah, but for all those that think, oh, well, that was a bit, anticlimactic and boring.
Very.
We have 2 mirrors in the bedroom now because we bought Chloe a new makeup desk, and the mirrors are facing each other.
Oh, that's always a bad idea.
I've heard this is a bad idea.
Well, having an infinity mirror is not necessarily a bad idea. It's standing between them that's very,
Well, so that's, there's an option there. I've opened a portal. So
possibly.
You
might.
So stay tuned.
You're just welcoming stuff into your house now.
I've debunked everything at the moment, but I've opened myself up to the possibility of introducing ghosts into the house.
Definitely you have, yeah.
So unfortunately, Keith, no, I kind of debunked everything in the house.
As far as a skeptic point of view goes, anyway.
Yeah. For someone living in the house, I guess.
I'm going to bring up this one because I should have mentioned in the actual No Subject episode where I was saying hello to people. This one is from Kristen. I'm not going to say her surname just in case she doesn't want me to, but Kristen, she says, hello, salutations, cheerio.
Oh, hello.
She is American. She said, I love British accents, and I live near Mel's Hole in Ellensburg, Washington. She said, folks still talk about it round here, and or at least these older folks do. She said, in one of your episodes, you mentioned Buckminster Fuller. Research him and you'll beep. Okay, a bit late, but yeah. And also George Van Tassel and his mysterious death.
Yes. George Van Tassel is in the system.
Yes, he has been added to the list, as has Buckminster Fuller, because I'm not sure whose episode it was that we mentioned that Buckminster Fuller in, but she obviously picked up on it and she said, look more into it.
Sounds like a fancy place.
Does, doesn't it? Sounds like somewhere... Is it somewhere in posh end of London?
Yeah.
I live at Buckminster Fuller, don't you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, that was sort of at Christmas time she sent that, so it's highly timed that I actually responded to that one. Yes. But yes, Kirsten, those are on the list, and we will be having a look into them and covering them.
Yes, the George Van Tassel one, as soon as I looked it up, I was like, oh, okay, this has tickled my teats. So, yeah, that is definitely in the system, on the cards.
Josh was actually going to do that episode last week. But then I said I was going to do the We Got Mail episode, and maybe I should bring up the email before you go ahead and jump into it. We had a guy, I assume it's a guy anyway, join, I think it is a guy, join our Discord a few weeks ago, who identifies himself only as Your Lordship.
Lovely. I like that. Yeah, that's
joined
cool.
the conversation, and as he's been working his way through our episodes, he admitted right there on the chat, on the general chat that everybody can go and check out. Go and check that out, by the way. It's free to join. Everybody can join. You just got to follow the link in the description, and you can go and join our Discord. As far as I know, it still works. At least it did for your lordship. Yeah, he actually was listening through the episodes, and he said, "Oh, I've been listening to your episode on the Bold Street time slips."
Oh, yes.
Liverpool, because that's where he's from.
Oh.
And he said, "Oh, I've actually had it happen to myself." So I said, "Oh, mate, you've opened up a can of worms there. You've got to either share your experience or send it to me as a direct message."
Hell yeah.
And so he did. He opened up a direct message channel, and he said, "Hey, so I was walking down Bold Street from the bombed out church. It was a nice day, seemed normal. Then it was as if a switch had been flicked, and there was people dressed in what seemed like 60s or 70s era style clothes. I knew there wasn't an event on or anything because the whole street was dressed the same, in the same style. There was no modern dress. As quick as it started, it was over in about 30 seconds. So I said, "Oh, hello. Do you mind if I pick your brains about this? I'm interested at all. What was it that made you notice the difference first? Did it seem like it was a different time of day? Did the weather change? Any details on types of clothing that people were dressed in? Might help pinpoint the decade. Did you notice a difference in the vehicles that were in sight? Did you interact with anyone on the street while it happened? I appreciate it was quick, a freak occurrence, but the more detail you can tell me that you can remember, then that would be great." And he did. He said, well, he was at work for a lot that day, but when he got home, he said, "Right, I'm home now. From what I can remember, the switch from modern day to back in time was just a matter of seconds, like about 3 seconds. From the modern day clothes that I see people wearing up and down the street to clothes that were worn around the 60s or 70s, which I would imagine are sort of, for at least the ladies, those one-piece button-up frocks that they wore,
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Button up down the front and that sort of thing. Blokes would generally be dressed more or less in a suit, unless they were like the hippie types, maybe some flared trousers or something like that. Yeah.
Brown was also a popular colour.
Brown was very popular back in the 70s. Yeah. He said Bold Street doesn't really have any vehicles going down there. It must be pedestrianised. I've never visited, so I don't know. But on this day, it was just solely people in dated clothing. When it happened, it was a nice day, but as the time flipped, it kind of went a bit dull and cold, but then flipped back when I came back to the present, as if it just didn't happen. As I was walking down the street, I didn't make contact with anyone. It was almost as if I wasn't there at all. It was really strange for me. I couldn't move quick enough to get a taxi to get home afterwards. I told the taxi driver about it, but he just laughed it off and didn't want to speak about it anymore, so I didn't press it anymore. I've since been back down there and haven't experienced anything since."
Interesting.
But there we go. One of our actual listeners, your lordship, has experienced a time slip in Bold Street, Liverpool. That's quite interesting, isn't it?
That is, yeah.
I wonder how many people that's happened to that they've just never reported it anywhere else.
I think that would be quite freaky to experience that.
I think it'd be cool.
Cool?
Yeah. I think if it happened to me, I'd definitely try and explore a little bit more rather than just walking down the street. I'd go into a shop and see what the differences are.
But then what happens if sometimes disappearing people are just trapped back in time?
Or like Marty McFly.
Yeah, and they can't get back.
I don't know.
Can that happen with time slips?
I don't know.
Oh.
There's not really a lot known about them. Generally, they just seem to happen for a very short period of time, where people just have this experience over, like his lordship says, over merely a minute or so. Have a quick sort of experience, and then it all flips back. I think obviously when we did the episode, there were a few people that said that they had interactions with people back in the past.
Yeah.
Maybe that prolongs it. Maybe if you have a time slip, you've got to go and interact with people to stay in the past. You know what I mean? And then as soon as that stops, and you've gone out of sight, out of mind, you're then out of that time.
I tell you what would also be interesting to find out if I imagine in the moment, if it's 30 seconds to a minute, you're probably too busy thinking what the hell is going on. But would your camera phone work?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because if you're in a time slip, and that technology is not available, would it work? I don't know.
Would you be able to carry on listening to your podcast through your headphones as you was walking down the street?
That's the thing.
Would it suddenly turn into the two Ronnies? It's good night from me and good night from him.
It just changes. And it's like when you hear people talking, it's like, like back in the 50s. Roll up, get your newspapers. Could be. Who knows? It's so interesting to me. The whole concept of time slips and going back in time is very, very interesting. I mean, good on him. He survived. He's here, and he's a lord. So,
yes, thank you.
Great email.
Thank you, my lord.
I like that one. Oh, and for Keith.
Yes.
And for Kristen. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. Another one that I guess I should shout out because she does interact a lot is Vicky. I think she's from Scotland. She regularly writes in with just her thoughts and comments on the episode. You remember I read out the other day she was listing all her favourite parts of an episode.
Oh, she's
with
awesome.
Timestamps and stuff. Big love to Vicky. On our last No Subject episode, she came onto the comments on Spotify, and she said she absolutely loved the way we role reversed on the intro.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Actually, a couple of other people who've been commenting on Spotify. Jane Dennison. Oh, I don't know if I should have said her last name, but that is her. that is how she identifies on Spotify, so I guess she won't mind too much. She complained about the audio on the AI episode where we got the AI. I do apologise for that. It was partly my fault and partly trying to get the AI to work at the same time. It was a bit of a thing, but then like a week later she did come back and say the audio is much better, thanks guys. Another one, Meg Joinatus, I'm not entirely sure how that's pronounced. She came on and said, yay, it's Monday on the No Subject episode, and then following that she actually came on and gave us a whole paragraph on Spotify.
Oh, that's nice.
And she said, hi guys, Meg from Australia here, answering the call to let you know, yes, we are receiving you. I don't usually comment, but I thought I'd let you know I and so many others do indeed listen to and appreciate you, in capitals. For me, I'm neurospicy, so your podcast is... That's kind of neurodivergent, like ADHD people and people like me who their brains just keep going and going and going and going and going.
I don't know why, but I imagined like an anime guy, like neurospicy, like a character from an anime.
It's probably pronounced neurospicy. I don't know. Neurospicy,
okay.
Not neurospicy.
That sounds more medical.
I'd be ginger neurospicy.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, no. Yeah, she said, I have neurospicy, so your podcast is my go-to method of 1, quietening my brain before bed, and 2, listening to during tasks so that I can stay focused on what I'm doing and what you guys are talking about, thus reducing the likelihood of side quests and squirrel moments, like when I go, oh, I was going to do this, but I spotted something shiny and now I'm going off on a tangent. So she's very much like that. So thumbs up to Meg. Oh, you could have done both at the same time, yeah. Whatever. But yes, shout out. Oh, thank you, Meg, all the way from Australia. We appreciate that. Thank you very much from the other side of the globe, and it is a globe. And did you know, I just wanted to say that Australia is actually currently our 3rd largest demographic for listeners. So big up Australia. Yeah, one up. Extra life for all the Australians.
That's awesome.
In fact, I can't say too much here, but there are emails that I can't read out at the moment. But I reached out to some absolute Australian legends, and I mean legends, before Christmas. It took 4 months for me to get a response.
Leave it as a surprise, though.
I will do.
Yeah.
But they did get back in contact. Absolute legends. I'm so looking forward. They are interested in coming on the podcast for an interview, for a bit of banter and stuff. Like, I'm not saying who they are. But they are very much seriously considering it. We haven't nailed down a date yet. It may be a little bit later on in the year, in a couple of 3 months' time, something like that. But we have got some absolute Australian legends. You guys are going to absolutely love the people that we potentially have lined up. I'm not going to say who it is, just in case it falls through and it doesn't happen. But
fingers crossed.
I am so excited for it. I'm really looking forward to getting these guys on the pod, and I think anybody who comes from Australia is going to appreciate exactly.
I think so as well. Yeah. But I also want to say as well, some of those emails there, the claps were for everyone. Just then, the emails where people write in and say thank you, and they have ADHD and stuff like that. They're the kind of emails that stick with me, because I'm like, that's what it's all about. It does mean a lot, and it's actually nice having that feedback, because there's always going to be haters out there. Like, it doesn't matter what you do online, there's always going to be haters. But when you get emails like that and messages like that, the haters it doesn't matter. Like, no. They're the kind of people that we're doing this for.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just really nice, and I feel blessed to have listeners that reach out and let us know that we're helping them, and they help us just as much. So
absolutely,
thank you, because that really does, like, it warms my cockles.
It makes our day, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a real eye opener that people from Australia and around the world are listening, and they find us somewhat entertaining, and that's good enough for me. Like, it's good. It is, yeah. So thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah, and sort of in closing a little bit, we're not quite at closing point, but one of our most popular episodes on YouTube, shall I say, at least, is the Ingo Swann trilogy that we did. Ingo Swann Part 2, I think, was actually the most watched.
Yeah.
Ingo Swann Part 1 is then closely followed, and then the Mars one, the Mars Pyramid, was closely followed by that. But that whole trilogy, that saga, we have so many comments. I'm not going to list them all. We have so many people get recommendations for other, like, remote viewers and that sort of thing. You should get these guys on for an interview. Get this guy on for an interview. He knows loads about remote viewing and stuff. And this is the thing, like, when you go on to places like vidIQ channel and stuff like that, channel makers on YouTube, they all go, oh, if you've got content that works, keep going with it, keep uploading code. I'm not doing an entire podcast series on Ingo Swann. I've done it now. That's kind of, we've kind of drawn that one to a close. I can't really think of too much more exciting stuff that I can say about Ingo Swann. But we get lots and lots and lots of comments on there. And this one in particular stuck out to me.
Okay.
It was just a few weeks ago, and it was from the Mars Pyramid one. Anybody can go on there and see the comments. So I'll say it was Marcus who came on and said, and he was very much interested in the Mars, the potential for there being a Mars colony, like millions of years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is something that was also brought up when we had Neil Armstrong on from Enigma Zine.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago. And I'm just going to set the record straight on this, on what I think. Now, this is what Marcus said. He said, if we came from Mars, no one ever brings this up on any of the Mars videos, but the gravity is lower there, And another guy, McMoneagle, he was part of Project Stargate, which was the remote viewing sessions that the American military held for, trying to see what was on Mars in the past, like a million years BC, I think it was.
Jeez, that's a long time.
Yeah. And he saw, they saw tall humans, the people that were the remote viewers. Mm-hmm. And Marcus says, so if we escaped to here from Mars, we would likely shrink from the higher gravity. But McMoneagle, we haven't done an episode on him, but it's basically the same as Ingo Swann, was also given the Mars mission. And when he opens his envelope, it's a million years BC, like I said, which was the same as what Ingo Swann got. We want you to look at Mars a million years BC. Mm-hmm. Then he checks the coordinates at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and the guy at the desk says, "Oh, you want the old city on Mars?" He says, guessing that's going to come out at the end here, but obviously it didn't because we weren't covering McMoneagle, we were covering Ingo Swann. He said, but if you guys haven't heard his record of it, it's worth watching on many channels. There is plenty of YouTube videos on McMoneagle. I haven't gone in. Maybe I will go into it at some point. I don't know, but
I'd like to now.
Anyway, right. So I did actually get back to him. He never responded to my comment. But I'm going to clear this up for pretty much, say my piece on this one. This is what I said to him. I said, from the records I've read from remote viewing about the ETs on Mars, they don't confirm that they ever actually made it off the planet. Only that they were looking to do so. Okay?
Right.
From the ETs that the remote viewers met or interacted
so directly
with,
from the alien's mouth.
Yeah. So like these people who were remote viewing Mars said that they met aliens and managed to interact with them, and the aliens said that they were looking for a way off the planet and somewhere that they could set up their civilization elsewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, then I say, you are correct in that Mars's gravity is approximately 40% that of Earth. Now, with that in mind, with the increase in gravity like that, if you were to come from Mars to the Earth, experiencing an increase in gravity like that, it would be extremely hard to adapt quickly enough for your species to evolve. Yeah?
Okay.
To expand on that, it would be like carrying around someone slightly heavier than you 24/7.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah?
What you're saying.
All over your body. So shrinking would be the least of your worries. Your vital organs would be under extreme stress all of the time. Extra weight, yeah? Even the act of lying down to go to sleep would be uncomfortable. The weight of your rib cage would weigh down on your lungs twice as much as it does. And getting up in the morning would be absolutely excruciating. You wouldn't necessarily be able to lift. Would you be able to get up off the floor if you were carrying someone slightly heavier than yourself on top of yourself?
Probably not. No.
Exactly. That's what it would be like for Martians coming to Earth. Yeah? So I said, so I'm not convinced they ever made it to Earth, and if they did, I don't know how long they would last, and that's not even taking into account the diseases, poisons, and other hazards that our planet is so abundant with. So while I don't rule out the possibility of an ancient civilization on Mars, I don't think they represent early humans. But that's just my take.
I would actually say that you're both right in your own way.
Okay, well,
so
go on then.
So if you want my opinion...
Yeah, right, go for it.
You are correct in all of the sciencey bits that you mentioned about organ. But then, to Marcus's point, surely that, what you said, would have been human from Mars to human to Earth. How do we know that aliens have internal organs? We don't know what aliens have.
Okay, yeah, but the implication is that aliens left Mars and then set up shop here on Earth and then evolved into humans, and so they are our ancestors. Much like Neil Armstrong said from Enigma Zine was that the spacecraft that they travelled here on crashed into the planet, caused the extinction event for the dinosaurs, which again I think is just silly because one, you're about 64 million years out, and two, if it's a crashed spaceship that is capable of wiping out an entire planet loads of giant lizards, how did Adam and Eve walk away from that crash unscathed and then start a population of humans?
Yeah.
About 900,000 years before humans actually existed.
But then to Marcus's point, it could...
Actually, more than that, 900,000 and 64 million years.
I don't think that we came from alien. I agree with you. The whole evolution thing doesn't add up. But we've spoken before about pods where genetically we could have been modified by aliens.
Yes, I'm more in favour of the ancient aliens, like the Anunnaki theory, that the Anunnaki came here and genetically modified themselves with apes and that sort of thing and created humans, rather than a species coming from a planet smaller than ours that wouldn't be able to handle the gravity, crash landing here, wiping out the dinosaurs, and then start evolving into what we are as humans these days. It doesn't fly for me. So that is just my. I'm closing on that one. That is my book closing. Yeah.
Well, I think fair play to Marcus for thinking outside the box.
Yeah, definitely.
Writing a comment like that, I think that's pretty cool. Like,
he's obviously thought about it.
He's obviously an intelligent guy. So yeah, I think he's right and wrong in places.
Yeah.
And then you're right and wrong in places, depending on whether you think what's going on with aliens' insides. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, no, that is a good point. I mean, but at the same time, if we're to believe that the Martian aliens landed here and then evolved into humans, then they would have internal organs. As does pretty much all life that we know of.
Do jellyfish have internal organs?
Yeah. Well, they eat, so they've got to.
They can live forever, can't they?
Yeah, they've got to have some kind of form of stomach. Some of them can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think sea sponges are literally the ones that they literally just can like live forever. There's some of the species on Earth can live for like hundreds of years, thousands of years, and then there's just like a small selection of sea creatures, like you say, some jellyfish, not all, but some jellyfish and sea sponges that just literally they've like dated them at being like thousands and thousands of years old, and they just don't die.
What a sad little life, sea sponge. What a sad little life. I would not like to be a sea sponge.
Well, it was alive a lot longer before you was even here, and it'll be alive a lot longer afterwards. So
what are they doing?
He's probably looking at you thinking, what a sad life.
Definitely not. You think a sea sponge is even aware of the surface? I think they do nothing. I think this sea sponge sits there just doing nothing.
Let's go blub.
To be honest, I didn't even really know about sea sponges until you just mentioned them.
No?
No. Sea cucumbers, coral,
What do
I've
you
heard
think
of that.
normal sponges are styled on?
I just thought they were sponges. Like my brain doesn't think
the
of
idea came
weird
from
stuff.
somewhere, though, didn't it?
Did it? I don't know. I just thought a sponge was an invention.
I think, like back in the day, they actually used like natural sea sponges, and to put plants in, and actually then you actually use it as a sponge. Perhaps, I don't know.
Who knows? Where does the idea of a loofah come from?
Can a sea sponge mop up the entire sea?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
How many sea sponges would it take to mop up an ocean?
That sounds like a tongue twister. I'm not even going to attempt it.
Nice.
I'd like to clear the record on something.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm seeing a lot of kerfuffle on social media about the elites eating mermaids or having mermaid eating parties.
Oh yes, this was brought up in our private channels, wasn't it?
Now, one of two things here. Either one, it's absolute rubbish, and I can't believe anyone would actually believe that there's people rich enough in the world, the elites, to have enough people. Like, that would have come out years ago. Also,
Yeah.
how do we go this long with there not being any mermaid footage, photos, or anything that are legit or evidence? And then all of a sudden, the elites are farming them to the point where they're having parties and eating them. If you're seeing these videos, like, it's just clickbait. It's a load of rubbish.
It's got to be, isn't it? Actually, I want to know what they taste like. Do they taste fishy or do they taste meaty?
I reckon it's in between, like scallops.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to have like a scallopy taste.
Oh, yeah, because the Little Mermaid was a crustacean, wasn't she? So,
Yeah.
it tastes like prawns or something.
Yeah, definitely. So the other option would be that mermaids would be a code word for something else.
Oh, now that's good.
It's a dark conspiracy, but that's
That
the
is
only other
good.
thing I can think of. Is
Yeah.
when people are talking about the elites get together and they have mermaid eating parties, it's going to be a code word for something. Or I've just thought of a third option.
Oh?
You know when, like, we've seen pictures of it, or when people eat sushi off of a lady's bosom. You know?
Oh, yeah, I see where you're going at.
It's like
there,
a royalty luxury thing where,
yeah.
they eat sushi off of a woman or man. I don't know. But I've seen it. I've heard of it, whatever it is. So that could be the third option. But
could be
actual mermaids being eaten at actual parties, no.
No, I'm not buying
You're
it.
telling me there's a if you were to
Where
say,
are the farms? I mean, we have salmon farms, we have fish farms and all that sort of thing. Where are the mermaid farms?
if Toomsy was like, mate, I'm having a party, come on round, and all of a sudden on the table was an actual mermaid, you don't think that in a room full of people, not one person is going to take a photo, or a video?
Exactly, yeah.
Like, it's just stupid. So, yeah, mermaid.
I mean, how many people take pictures of their dinner already and then post it on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or wherever it goes, you know? I mean, if it was a genuine mermaid, hundreds of pictures, there'd be thousands of pictures out there.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah, it's like people take pictures of carbonara, and I'm like, it's just a sea of beige. What am I looking at?
Yeah.
It's just a carbonara. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pasta and cheese sauce. Great.
But a
Go
mermaid...
you. Mermaid, I'd want to see that.
Yeah.
That's actually someone's meal that I actually am interested in seeing.
Yeah. That's exactly it. So, yeah, I don't think it's real anyway. But
No. I don't.
code word is the only likely thing that I think.
I think, yeah. It's dark, but cannibalism?
Maybe.
It's dark. It's dark. Dark enough to be elite.
It is. It is, yeah.
Let's not go down there.
But I don't, and the people saying look into it, I'm not even going to bother looking into it.
I don't think we need to look into that.
No.
I think we've pretty much debunked that already.
Polar Bear tried to look into it,
Did
and
he?
even he couldn't find anything.
No, he won't.
It's just videos referring to other videos of people eating mermaids, but there's no evidence, so it's just silliness.
Yeah, that's fair.
And we don't have mug tattooed on our foreheads, so we ain't going to bother, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
Sort
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well...
Because we're British and we'd tattoo cup on our forehead.
That is a pirate dad joke.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Well, I mean...
There's no paranormality scale to this week because it's just a We Got Mail episode.
You know what?
It's a
No, there is
discussion one,
there is
so-
a scale.
Oh, is there?
The scale on
Mermaid scales.
1 to 10. How much do you like our listeners? Because for me, it's a 9.9. No one ever gets a full 10.
Yeah, 9.9, definitely.
9.9 to
I love
our
our
listeners.
listeners.
So-
I love getting emails and I love it when you guys interact with the podcast. Do it more. Join the Discord. Send us an email, paranormality.uk@gmail.com. How long can you float that finger above that button?
That's for the
There we
listeners.
go. That's the listeners. And yeah, interact as much as you like. We love it. We love the hate. We love the love. We love everything.
We don't love the hate. I just ignore it.
We ignore the hate, but you know.
Actually, no, I see what you mean. So the hate actually does help us in a way.
In a way, it does.
But we're not
yeah.
encouraging hate.
We're not encouraging
We
it,
like
no.
the positive stuff. Because if you do give hateful comments or whatever, maybe Me personally, I just ignore it. I don't care. I'm not
Yeah,
really,
no.
not
Like
really bothered.
the other week when we did the Gary Sudbrink thing, one of the comments that we got was, "Oh, these guys are clearly homophobic." What? Because I said that he could have a gay friend that was like stalking him. I'm not homophobic. Military people can be
Yeah.
gay as well. There's no law against it. You know?
Also, I don't understand how your comments were homophobic in any
No,
way.
no.
Me saying no was the fact that your story was
It was
just
just going far out of the
'cause-
box. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I think we've said multiple times on the pod we both have family members that are gay.
Yeah,
And
yeah. My
we have
brother
both
is gay,
said
yeah.
multiple times, like, we don't judge, we don't care. We literally do not care what people's preferences are or anything. Like, it has nothing to do with anything. Podcasting and sexuality and gender and stuff has nothing. They just don't coincide.
No.
Like, we do a podcast
We're entertainers
to
for the-
entertain, and we talk rubbish. Like, we talk absolute rubbish, and it's just mind-boggling that people are either just trolling, or it's one of those things where people are so dumb, like literally
Yeah.
mind-boggling dumb, that they just, but these guys must be homophobic because they've got nothing else better going on in their lives.
They got
Like,
no better comment to say.
It's so crazy to me. Like, get a life. Like, we don't have to justify ourselves, but my cousin is gay. I've mentioned it before. And I love the guy. Like, it doesn't matter.
My
Like,
brother is gay. I meet up with him every once a month to go out for a meal. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not phobic of him.
yeah. Also, one of the best men at my wedding was gay. Like, if I was that homophobic, which obviously clearly I'm not, why? Do you know what I mean? It's just so stupid to me.
Yeah,
it's such a
it's
stupid
crazy.
comment. Like, people don't know our actual lives and our backgrounds and who we're friends with and who our family members are. So comments like that, they make me riled up and angry because it's just so stupid. It's such a stupid comment.
But anyway, going away from hate, just quickly before we finish off, I know like a few weeks ago I was trying to sort of big up my music thing with the Palgrave Players, the Country Nights thing. Now I don't know if it is our podcast listeners that has done this.
Okay.
But now the Palgrave Players, they normally at the Village Hall set it up and they only sell 50 tickets. They've never sold more than that.
Right.
This week, they hit 50 tickets. They upped it to 100 tickets per night, which is the maximum amount the hall is allowed to have, maximum capacity, and we're nearly sold out.
Really?
Yes. This
Hell
has never happened before. Now, I don't know, and I only said this to like the guitarist and one of the singers that I'm quite friends with. I said, I don't know whether it's our podcast because it came out this week, me advertising that, and I was like, is that people wanting to come and see us?
Maybe.
Me? Us? Oh, that is a wow thing. So if you have bought tickets, if you did buy tickets, this episode will come out just after that performance. So I will find out, but I don't know at the moment because it's still halfway through March at the moment. But thank you so much if that is you guys. If you've bought the tickets and you wanted to come over and meet Josh and myself, I don't even know if Josh is going to be able to have a ticket at this point. But yeah, thank you very much if it's you guys that have done that, because that's just amazing. We've literally doubled sales on what was normally just a small, community thing, and I'm gonna hope that I'm gonna take a GoPro or two to the performance, and if you are interested and if you missed it, then I will make sure that there's a free to watch video on Patreon. And I'll make some extra footage or something for the paid members as well. But thank you very much for doing that. If you're listening to this and you went, yeah, I was one of those people that bought a ticket, brilliant. And I hope that I met you the other night and it was all a good time.
I hope you don't have a rival and they've basically 50 cented you. because
that would be horrible.
do you remember when 50 Cent bought the first
Bought
2
all
rows
the
of Ja
tickets,
Rule's tickets just so he didn't have a front audience?
Yeah.
So I hope there's not a secret rival out there for you.
Maybe.
Imagine that. They just bought the tickets and just left the front rows. Oh, man, now I need to find out who my rival is.
Well, that's the thing. I don't even know at this point because I haven't done the gig yet. I don't know if it's rows of seats or what. From what I gathered, it might be like tables and chairs set up, and there's a like little area just in front of the stage where people can get up and join in with the dancing, the line dancing and stuff. So, but I'll find out in a few weeks, and hopefully, it was a good night, and everybody enjoyed it.
Nice.
So, did you enjoy it?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's good. Second to my wedding day.
Yeah.
It's good.
Right, and so thank you to everybody, and until next week, I've been Pirate.
I'm J-Dog.
This has been Paranormality UK. Ta-ta.
Ta-ta!
You don't have to use that every week.